Hello, I'm Hope Medina, a member of the Sustainability Membership Council, and today we're going to talk about windows. So windows, or the more quote-unquote clinical term of fenestration, does a lot more than just let the sunshine in and give us light. It does do all that, but it also is a line of defense to ensure our buildings are comfortable and safe. So let's talk about what that light actually brings in as it enters through those windows. Not to get all science talk on the subject, but light has solar heat with it. The solar heat that penetrates those windows will heat up a space. Now, this could be a good thing when you're in a colder climate where a little bit of extra heat could be beneficial. But if you're in a place like Phoenix in July, that is definitely not a benefit. So how do we ensure we control this solar heat? Well, the Energy Code has some requirements for windows that states that you cannot exceed a certain allowed solar heat gain coefficient. Now, this is represented with a decimal number, and this number indicates the percentage of solar heat that the window is going to allow to pass through into the structure and not be reflected away. If it were to show you that the solar heat gain coefficient was a 0.40, this would indicate that 40% of the solar heat is passing through the window into the structure, and 60% of the solar heat is being reflected from the structure itself. So think about houses and buildings in warmer areas that are built prior to air conditioning being a common thing. You'd probably think about the large porches and overhangs that were extending around the building. This was to help to keep the sun out of the building by shading those windows. Now, probably a more common term people are familiar with is the term of a U factor for our windows. The U factor is a measurement demonstrating how much the window will allow the transfer of heat in either direction through the window. Now, this number is important to the concept of the thermal envelope. The thermal envelope includes windows, is a barrier for conditioned space from the unconditioned space. And the less amount of heat transfer through these windows allows the conditioned space to stay where it was intended and stay the intended temperature, and allows the occupants to be comfortable. Another thing to keep in mind is we need to pay attention to how much the windows leak air. The Energy Code has provisions to ensure the windows being installed will not likely leak the air as they used to in the past. Thank you.
Join us for the next edition of the Sustainability Membership Council's Building Safety Month video series, Building a Legacy.